Hi and welcome to a video that we're doing on here for the Adventist Agricultural Association. We're going to show you how to take a soil test, or at least how I take a soil test, because maybe other people do it differently. So one of the things that you want to think about before you take a soil test is where you're going to take it and how you're going to identify where you took that test, so that when you get your results back, you know what test goes with what area. And here on BetterTogether Farm, we have a coding system, and I'm going to just bring this up here. And basically, this coding system, obviously it says 2C42, identifies this specific bed right here. And we're going to be pulling these overgrown cilantro plants out here, and we're going to retest this bed and get the results back hopefully in a week. So I ID'd my bag so that when I get the results back, I know, which results go with what. And these are just little bagel bags that you can get from Walmart. And you don't necessarily want to use paper bags like from the store, because sometimes the glues and stuff can affect the results on the test. So just a nice plastic bag that hasn't been used before, it will do just fine. And so basically I have actually this little feed bucket that I use, and it works really nice. I'll put the bag kind of like a liner inside, because I also use this soil testing probe, okay? Let me just kick this out. And these are really handy. They're not too expensive. I think maybe 30, 40 bucks for one of these. And if you're taking a lot of samples, it's really handy to have. As you can see, I actually have this marked here on the side, and that's marked at 6 inches, and then this is at like 7.5 inches. But for what we do, we actually test at a 6-inch depth, because that's the amount of fertility that we're going to calculate for in amending these beds. Some people like to test a foot. Really, unless you have implements that you can turn a foot over in, it doesn't really make sense. So 6 inches is going to be good for almost everyone, and it'll make the calculations easy when you go to make recommendations. So I just come like this, and I push this down to the soil. Obviously, heavier the soil, it might take a little mallet on top. But in this sandy soil here, then I twist it. It's pretty easy, and it brings out a nice core like that. Okay? And then I'll take that, and I just tap it in my bucket until I get it out. Obviously, in clay soil, you might need a little screwdriver to push out the end right here, because sometimes it gets stuck. We grew in some clay soil a few years ago, and I had to do that. So I'm going to take one there, and I'm just going to go kind of randomly down this bed here. And I'm going to take 5 to 6 samples. Just randomly on the bed top. That's 3. And I just want it representative, so I'm going to go all the way down the bed and pull cores. That's 4. Then I'm going to do one here. This is some overgrown arugula. 5. And just one more for good measure right down here. Just like so. Now, if you have an area that, don't worry about getting any material or stuff in the sample like this. At the lab, they'll sift that out. And if you're doing soil solution tests at home, it doesn't really make any difference. So then if you have an area though like this where you haven't amended different beds differently, you can do much larger areas, but for this purpose here and for the video, we're just showing you one bed. So I just tie it up like that, and it's ready to send off to the lab. It's ID'd. So I'm going to actually process these soil tests here on the farm and send it off to a lab. But for most people, you would just take this, put it in, I tie it a lot better, like pull it through and tie it nice and tight, and then mail it to your laboratory that you're wanting to send it to for analysis, and you should be good to go as far as the soil testing taking part. So that's it.